Angithanda ukushelwa, for instance.
Really?
No, I don't like it. It's flattering. Ukuthi, oh, okay, uyachaza.
You see me.
But angifuni ungishela.
Ufuna yenzeni?
No, my spirit must tell me who you are first.
Ayaya.
Leso stoop leso. Bengisfrey fane ngepolishe ready. That's why I'm not doing okay, but I can't.
You still have.
I cleaned it up. Leave me alone.
How the hell did you pull that off?
Every black woman.
Ucleane ngani?
Yes, the ngclean ngani?
Kuthi abe clean.
Nalezinto ukhanya clean ngazo.
I can't believe you did that.
Did I say that? Yeah, I love you, Kanye Bell.
King David Studio Podcast.
I think I have a start today. Should I tell you? Come on. Hey, 1, 2, 3, go! Andile, Gaelesiwe. How you doing, ma'am?
I'm good, Dave. How are you?
I'm awesome. When you walked in earlier, I said Mahlo Matala. I haven't seen you in so long.
In a while, right? But I always love sitting on this other side.
Oh, instead of
microphone with you. We always have.
We've had this so many times.
Conversations.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you the last time I saw you. It's the craziest thing.
Where? On this?
No, Urban Brew. I was there with doing something with the Department of Education, and I was with Payaza Lesuf. You're so happy.
Yes, I remember that. Oh no, that's my friend.
You see?
I know, Panyaza in pinch.
Wow. You always leave me with a lasting impression, I guess. That's why I remember.
Really?
Yeah.
Aww.
I hope you've been well.
Look, the world has been going through so much.
Yeah.
I've equally been going through quite a bit. Jeez. But it's nothing backbreaking. It's nothing, it's alignment for me.
Yeah.
At least. I mean, as the last 2.5 years, I released a book too, and I'm reminded because I say in the book, it's almost as if there's a collective go to your room, to the whole world, and think about what you guys have been doing, to the earth, to yourselves, to humanity, all of this. So I guess I've been rolling with the punches,
yes, like all of us, eh?
Yeah.
Is the book the long awaited? Remembering.
Yes, and then it came out, but unfortunately for us, kitty lockdown, kitty this, kitty
wow,
this.
It came out, geez,
during.
Man, time has been so funny.
Yeah.
So when did it come out? 2020?
No, it came out earlier this year when we were still in lockdown, before Spumagula level.
Oh, yeah, okay.
We're still, yeah. And sure, it's been an amazing, okay, first of all, writing the book.
Yeah.
Was it was a very tall ask. I will start there. I was not ready.
What part of it was tricky?
The whole thing. My whole life is tricky. So to sit down and try and document everything was an exercise that Andile, the little girl, needed.
Wow.
It was an exercise that Andile, the teenager, needed to exhale. It was an exercise that Andile, the woman, the grown woman, needed to kind of stamp for herself. Not for the reader, but for herself. Stamp who, okay, I finally think I get who I am.
Yes.
And why I am.
Huh.
Was
it the quiet moments where you had to reflect that revealed this person that you've clearly been searching for?
Yeah. It definitely was a search. All of my life. And I think the searching has kind of slowed down because I did get a lot of some of the answers I wanted from self. But it was definitely in the quiet moments. It was also in the interrogations with my co-writer. I would tell a story and tell him, and he would record everything. And then he would write it. Abuye. And send it to me to read. And I'm like, you didn't capture it. You didn't get me. Let's go back.
Ooh.
And in me saying, let's go back, it's also taking me back.
Gosh.
And then some of the things, like, it's weird. I wish South Africans understood the devastation that is gender-based violence. That was so stark to me when I couldn't remember. I could ask you in chronological order, primary, crash, primary,
I'm likely to remember.
I don't. I had to ask people. I had to ask my sister. That phone call brought me to tears. I remember that very vividly. because in my mind, I thought I went here, there. And she's like, no. In fact, you went here, you went there, you came out of here and you went. I'm like, I now realize the filter. I've been seeing my life through this wound. So it's almost like now when you calculate, you're like, okay, was it before or after COVID?
Oh, no, yes.
It's that kind of
That's
marker.
yeah.
You know, so even for me, it was that before I got ready? Imagine having to ask, I was asking myself, was this before the thing happened to me or was it after? Or it was,
oh no.
I'm getting goosies.
Oh.
It was harrowing. It was such a harrowing process. But I was going there.
And you were a willing participant.
I was never going to shortchange, first of all, myself.
Yeah.
Let alone you who's going to buy the book and read it. Because one thing that became very clear to me, I love the bath and I love bathing. So I will sit in a bath for an hour until ikiza mangvula ati no straight. Then sing shwabene, sing a kotora. Okay, now I must leave the bath.
Yes.
And so those nourishing moments and those quiet moments in the bath, those are moments for me to create, right? That's why my phone will always be there so that if something comes to me, then I can record it while I'm in the bath.
Yeah.
Now, at these times, I then realize, hey, Pugile wena man.
Joe.
Hey, wena.
Really?
Wena. Sometimes I would have recorded and then I was in that moment and then listening back. And then I understood this is why bengathandi when I used to sing, to record whatever line, whatever paragraph, whatever stanza, whatever you call those things, and then listen back.
What, you didn't like?
No, I didn't like that. I couldn't stand my voice.
Have you grown to it?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
I love my voice now. Kumbula Kai actually played a role in that. And I think in growing, my voice also grew. So, that whole process, David, I mean, I would recommend that to anybody who's been through any kind of trauma, because then you get to be the third person and see self standing there. And like, okay, and it also then will show you some of the bad choices
That
that you
made.
make,
Yeah.
because now this is your filter, and you are. I mean, I realized for the longest time, I've been in the fight or flight mode, even when I thought I'm okay. Even when everyone is celebrating me, it's Tanda wena, in. But Mina, I'm still in that.
Edgy.
Very much so.
What?
And therefore relating to individuals, whether it's, in relationships, colleagues, friends. If my friends were honest enough, they'd tell you, I'm that friend you can call at any point when you're in trouble. But I'm also that friend that you won't see for 6 months.
Oh.
But I'll check
But
on
after
you.
6 months, you are the one to call.
Yeah.
And solve
Whenever,
problems.
during the 6 months,
Yes,
whenever
yes.
you're in trouble,
Yeah.
I'll be there. Mara ukuthi, every weekend, nah.
Shapa kunjani?
I love my solitary moments. And, I'll bring you in when I bring you in. And I realized, this book made me also realize, even in how I date, there's no hurry. And there's that fright, there's that flight or thing,
Yeah.
fear. So, angithanda ukushelwa, for instance.
Really?
No, I don't like it. It's flattering. But, okay, uyachaza,
You see me.
but angifuni ungishela.
Ufuna inzeni?
No, my spirit must tell me who you are first.
But so if the spirit...
And one thing I'll say about my spirit, it hasn't been wrong.
But it has...
Even when it's been wrong, it hasn't been wrong.
Why you say that?
I say that in that I'm in my 40s now, my late 40s, right?
You are. I can tell you your true age because we share the same star sign.
Yes.
Now,
I'm
in
gonna
2
be
weeks.
49 now.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yes. On the 13th.
Yeah. How you know that?
I know stuff.
Nambon, David, Nambon.
So I know you. Now.
Now, throughout my relationships, I've dated some amazing human beings.
Wow.
They were not the greatest of partners. And that's, for me, the big thing.
Do you know I met you long before.
Before.
Long before. As in the first time I ever walked through the SABC building.
Yeah?
And I was a kid. I was a taxi driver in Mamelodi. That's how long ago it was. And a friend of mine knew that I loved radio and I wanted to be on radio with all my heart.
Yeah.
And said to me, I know someone at the SABC. It was on a Saturday early evening. I went to SABC. There we are, Siangena. It's in the 90s, late 90s.
Yeah.
Late 90s.
Yeah.
Yes. Siangena, we're waiting at reception. I'm excited. I'm in this amazing building. Reception SABC, when you're seeing it for the first time, it's quite exciting. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we're waiting there. And this guy is surprising me
Yeah.
with this person that he knows at the SABC.
Oh, wow.
He walks out. It's the musical doctor.
Oh, wow. The musical doctor. Why'd you have to go there? Shame.
It's the musical doctor. And the musical...
That's a great human being.
There you go.
Yep.
The musical doctor takes us to his house.
Wow.
When we get there...
I'm there.
Yep.
I remember that.
When we get there, you're there.
Somewhere.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
It literally probably was my second
remember
time
the
in Joburg. Like that's how...
I actually passed that King Velte what?
Velte.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was there.
That's
Yeah.
where we were.
Oh, wow.
You were there
That was
with
a long
your
time ago.
blonde braids.
Yes.
I still remember.
Yes.
Because then you had a hit song.
Oh, my God.
And it's like, whoa, this evening is amazing. I met the musical doctor. I'm with this music
and
star.
the whole industry didn't understand. People didn't understand. Abantu basile,
But
yazi.
they didn't understand the relationship.
Yeah, abantu basile, man. You know, there's that thing yokuthi nefanelana.
Oh.
That thing doesn't work. At the end of the evening, you can look good together, taking pictures and whatever.
Mm.
At the end of the day, it's a man and a woman. You know, without the world, can you guys handle each other? You know?
Yeah.
And so, like, this is exactly it. Is that when I say my spirit has never, lied to me or been wrong, that's a great human being, but wasn't a great partner at all.
For you.
For me.
Yes.
In fact, for most women
Yeah.
at that time of his life. Angazi manje, uthukhulile.
We're talking...
Remember, we speak like
We're talking
once
20,
a year.
25 years ago. Even.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, he still can call me birthday and wish me happy birthday because he's a great person.
Yeah.
And so that's what I mean about you have to speak to my spirit. The merits of whether or not you are present as a partner, that's something else. But once we've crossed the umuntu, you're on the light side of life. Yeah. Because people are dabbling in all kinds of sides.
What
of
is
life.
the light side of life?
Well, when I say the light side of life, I mean your truth. I mean, authenticity. I mean, not going out there there are people who date people just to bring them ula.
Yes.
zokubeka la.
Okay.
There is an energy in relationships, and I've seen so much of that on Uthando Noxolo, where whether it's a broken man or a broken woman, if they're coupled with you and they themselves don't feel worthy of being coupled with you, at some point that insecurity is going to show itself in the ugliest.
And when it does, it's destruction is
Oh
starting.
no, it's toxicity on a level, and I've been there. So the reason I was saying, Guti, throughout, the majority of the people I've dated, I still talk to. We're still friends. Abanye angazi kwenzakalani this year, bayangifuna back. Ngabala bayi-5. Angazi kwenzakaleni. And I'm like, nah. You know.
Funny.
But I was tainted by the dark side in relationship. I have. And it's something I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy.
Is it stuff you brought with you?
No, it's stuff that I found in the space. But it's also stuff that we show up differently to different people based on what they show up or what they bring, right? So I show up as me, hey.
All the time.
Every day, and then ngiyaphandlana, and angikhoni sometimes ukuzibuyisa. Now I know. But I think in my 20s and my 30s, whatever it is that I am, is that 24/7.
Yeah.
So if ungishelile and you like me, this is me. Yonke into ihlala phezu kwetafula, we are open about things. But then, like I say, then there's that dark side of things where someone is like, they like that you're a strong woman seeing you from there. You're independent, you're doing your things, you're this. But now you're here.
Right in front of me.
And you are still that strong, independent woman. Now they can't cope.
Ooh.
Because now...
Is that a thing? Like a challenge?
It's a huge thing. Some of your brothers love it. Yeah, we want strong women. They can't. They turn out abusive because this is the thing. It's like the whole narrative about the flower. Human beings will pick a flower because they say they like it, they love it, it's beautiful.
It smells nice, whatever.
They're not going to leave it in its natural environment. They'll take it there, want to put it in a vase. And tend to it the way they want to. That's not my natural environment. When you saw me there, I was blonde, I was out here, I was, and now I'm here next to you. Yours is to allow me to be just like I allow you to be.
Yes.
So the unfortunate part I've seen in most relationships, the very things that attract people are the things that eventually break them up.
But he has been tanda the way you say this, and now it's the one thing I don't like about
exactly.
you. Exactly. Because we're already so deep into things. Yeah. You've been doing other things besides TV productions and all of that.
Yes.
And we spoke about a smell, and you're into things that look and smell nice.
So, there's a super. Let's start it here. There's a superfood in the world called sea moss.
Okay.
Sea moss is a sea vegetable. Mtanagabo kelp, weed.
Okay.
The thing they wrap seaweed that they wrap the sushi in. Grows in the ocean. Is literally a sea vegetable. 92 minerals and vitamins. Its main job, I guess, is to remove phlegm from the body.
I think I need it now.
That's what it does more than anything, right? Yeah. Because phlegm is the glue in the body. So any pathogen will sit there and replicate and so on. So when you eat sea moss regularly, uzozwa nawe, mining, I used to be a smoker. So bengizwa ngathi nginebola of something here. And it was the phlegm, And so sea moss, like I say, is a superfood, so many uses. It's liquid Botox. It grows your hair. There's too much with sea moss.
Where do we get it? Is it easily accessible?
So I now decided, it grows in the Caribbean. We don't have it here. So I've got my suppliers. But then for the last 2.5 years, and I came across it because my dad got sick with liver cancer.
Okay.
And I'd read about it and I didn't know where to find it. But when I found out about the diagnosis, then I looked and then I did find it. Unfortunately, he passed. But then I was left with this packet I'd bought for him.
Yeah.
And then I learned some more about it. And then I started making things with it. And from because he died good January, we buried him. It was actually one of the last funerals that Abantu could go to.
Oh.
The proper funerals.
Oh, in 2019.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I think like 2 months later, I started processing sea moss and then selling it to health shops. And I make different flavors.
In what format?
So I'll show you pictures. It's in a container. It's a gel. And so, for instance, now the flavors that are making people crazy, ivusmuz eamatot.
Okay.
From ivusa yonkinto. I've got beautiful herbs from Limpopo, Chikwana. I've got mbesu in there.
Wow.
I've got horsetail. I do these things and they're powerful. There's a white man who insisted the health shop gives him my number because he wanted to tell me he's had prostate cancer for the longest and he started taking this product a month ago and now he's peeing things that are like rocks and what and he's feeling better. Like, this is my purpose. I've always loved to do this. My family will tell you, Bang Biza inyanga ye model C. I'm not a sangoma, none of that. I just love trees and things that heal. So I find the right combinations. I've got simple combinations, complex combinations, and then I mix the things. I have one that detoxifies literally yonke emzimbeni. And especially after these 2 years.
Yes.
The detox thing.
We need it. Superfood.
That soap is made out of sea moss.
Okay.
It's made out of lavender and 80% olive oil. If you know about soaps, olive oil soap is amazing for your skin.
Yes.
So that's just goodness right there.
But I want the stuff that solves bigger problems. Because you're talking about...
We'll get that stuff.
Are they easily available?
The beautiful thing, I've got one health shop in the south.
Okay.
That's been carrying the stuff for over 2 years, whatever, when I started, and then they will sell to other stores. Then we are launching another store, 2 stores, Mall of the South. Ivy Zeal and Zeal Cafe. Zeal Cafe will have the gel in their fridges, and then the Ivy Zeal, it's for they do drips. So you'll get the soaps, you'll get the creams. I make a mean face mist. The man, the owner wants the face mist. I'm like, I'm not ready. I'm still testing my formulas, and so I've tested my formulas. I've created beautiful formulas, and I'm also in the process of getting everything tested by Isida. But I'm bang because already the product has been consumed.
Exactly.
For the last 2 years. So yeah. And then for this side as well, because now I'm in the West, Uber Eats. I've just signed up with them.
So they can
you'll
get your
get
stuff.
from Uber Eats, yes.
The one that has a horse something. What is that?
Horsetail.
Yes.
So that's for men. That's for prostate cancer.
Bear with me, I'm
Ivusa
stuck there.
inkunzi. And then iyacleana yonke into prostate. Angithi nina futhi amadoda niyasabi ukuya kuyenza prostate check.
Yeah, no, I've been.
You have?
I've been.
You should ask your guys how many have. Bayasaba.
Yeah, because and there are other ways of doing it as well.
Oh, really? Not just that
No,
invasive?
yeah. They can also do a blood check, not even blood check, even a urine check and things like that to get a sense of whether they need to do the other one.
Yeah.
Because you can tell with there is cancerous cells in your body with other ways.
Yeah.
And then you say, oh, we need to check it. Because it's not always clear and visible prostate. And as a result, it's a slow killer.
Oh, yeah.
Until it becomes a problem, then you find
sure.
yourself, you're stuck with it.
Exactly. So the thing about, the bottle that I sell, it's 375 mils. CMOS is such a versatile thing that you could... I'm having coffee now. I could have put a dollop in my coffee.
Oh,
You
mixed it up.
Or you take a spoon on its own, or you do a smoothie, you put in there, and it's great for pre and post your trainer. Like CMOS, did you ever hear of Dr. Sebi? Dr. Sebi was curing people around the world until Bamtishage. And Nipsey Hussle, he was trying to finish Dr. Sebi's documentary. And then they killed him in the middle of that.
Jeez, because you have a miracle product here.
Okay.
All right. I want CMOS. No, don't worry.
No, so CMOS, I'm telling you, David, after these last 2 years, so many people are sick. Cancer's back, skyrocketing. Since the interview last week at 2000, people have gone on my Insta and my Facebook. I'm getting...
Check what's going on. Yeah, because they're sick.
Yeah, I'm getting kidney failure, lung cancer, whatever. Like, I was showing my mom, I'm like, okay, I didn't think...
It'll go this...
Yeah. I'm an avid researcher and reader of natural things that heal.
Yeah.
And when people say to me, but... You are 40, what? Why you a cookie? Because I live this way. I eat these things, And that's why Abelung will see an old granny, she's 90, she's behind the steering wheel, we are drive. They eat these things. We don't know. And so for me, even when you're going to resell my product, you're not going to kill people in your price.
You can't.
For me, that's not the aim.
Yeah.
The aim is, Isimos must be a thing you find a Pick n Pay. Nagupi was guti okay umntana mangimtholele lento le, whether a flu, a skin problem, whatever it is, women and their issues, menstrual, what do you know what I mean? So it's proper.
Do you know what? We can't wait. We'll get more of it. Where do we? You said Mall of the South.
So Mall of the South. Mall of the South. So on the day of the launch, which is that Saturday, 2 Saturdays away, then I will put out Zonkinda. I have an online store as well.
I was about to say, yes.
I do.
What is it?
It's been waged. God's Pharmacy ZA.
Whoa.
.co.za.
Okay, God's Pharmacy.
It is.
Yes.
It really is.
Yes.
I'm just a conduit, Klanganisa, but this is really God's Pharmacy. And Lapo, I've just put it on hold so that it's live, but we're not taking any orders until everything is streamlined.
True.
Because now we've had people also who want to resell, and we had to kind of retweak,
Yeah.
And CMOS, I'm so pedantic about it. I don't want to courier it. It's a thing, fresh.
Yes.
So mele ibe se store.
So maskhuluma sona stock nyana.
Ngine stock baba.
Okay, done.
Ngine stock.
We after this place order. siyahlanda isimos.
Yebo baba.
Sifuna isimos la ofisini.
Yebo baba.
Yes,
Yebo baba.
we might as well.
And you won't go back.
Yes.
You eat this thing, that is a month's supply. Uzozwa, because the thing about natural meds is that, except if you're sick, if you're healthy and you're taking it, you're not going to know the difference.
No, of course.
And
yeah.
especially my guy, may you rest in peace. I can't finish his name. Dr. Nechi would always say to me, he loves me as a patient. He was my guy. Actually, because when I can do something to you now, and then tomorrow, this change, that change, I'm that in touch with my body.
Yes.
But not everybody is. So the thing about CMOS is, once you've had it for a month and then you don't, uzozwa now with something is different. It's a lifestyle thing. It's not a drive-by.
No, actually, McDonald's.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I want to go to the beginning.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Ish. Nightish, ne?
I refuse.
No, man. I'm just prepared today. Normally, I'm not.
Oh, God.
Normally, I'm not ready. So today
I'm usually
ready.
this person who does this. And then I look at the cameraman. Let's say somebody.
I'm with toilet paper.
Yeah, toilet paper.
So yeah, that's where we are. I want to go back to the beginning. Where were you born?
Whew. Middlelands, Zone 4, Piri Piri Street,
Yeah.
432A. Oh, wow.
It sounds like it's a popular place, like Middlelands.
It is.
Are there cool people from
They're
Middlelands?
cool people. They're cool people.
Besides you.
It's of course, besides me, but it's a cool place. Ucharosi,
Oh, there you
half
go.
of Trompies. But Soweto, there's so many people about good industry actually.
Yes.
I mean, not just Soweto, in Middlelands. It's like a melting pot of South Africans, because Koni section, Bebati Sutu section, Koni Zulu section,
In Middlelands.
in Middlelands, and then there's on 5 feet, the Tonga section. So in Middlelands that's why they made a song.
That's why I'm asking. Yes. Because there is a song. Middlelands. Middlelands.
Yes.
So it's always been a
It's
vibe.
always been a vibe. It's always been the place. And growing up there, being born there, I feel like is what has also grounded me. Ukuzazi ukuthi, you know, we leave Ikasi and then we go back Ikasi on a Sunday or a Saturday, and then uzosibona sonke on a Sunday. Ama-traffic coppa simele siyalandelana siyaphuma elokishini. Sengathi naleyo lifestyle. But ukukhula eMiddlelands, you know, with a Tonga person next door to you, a Sutu person this side, a Xhosa mother on the other side, and a Swati person. Iyo le nto engenza ukuthi ngibe street smart.
Yes.
You know, and so I'll always give credit to
Middlelands,
Middlelands
yeah.
and the rest of Soweto. Kasla makasi ke bame kancane abothembisa nabobani.
But Mamelodi is a country. I have to speak for my town. I have to speak for my town.
I know you're like a country. I agree with that.
Mamelodi is a
When I go there,
Yeah.
I'm like, am I still in South Africa?
Wow, is it that bad?
No, it's just, I like it. I mean, I must
vibe is
say,
different.
the vibe is amazing.
Yeah.
I'd never really partied in Pretoria, except when I used to sing and then get booked.
Moretele Park.
Yeah,
and
you know what I
things like
mean?
that,
Yeah. Marugutu uyo jiver.
Nah.
I think over the last couple of years, I don't even remember when I know.
Are Blade Duma.
I know. Yeah, boy, I know. Izo.
Middlelands and Ekas, your home, your household.
Mm-hmm.
Describe the household for us. The house itself, when you were born.
For room.
Uh,
In a stoop is cool at the back. Well, it's the front, I guess,
yes.
because ungenada.
Yeah, by the gate. Yeah,
by
but
the
I get
gate.
what you mean. Because the front for us is the kitchen door.
Exactly.
And yet it's at the back.
And yet it's the back.
Confusing. You
Injalo.
get what I mean?
Injalo.
Yes.
And then leso scoop the stoop leso. Bengis free fane ngepolish red. That's why I'm not doing okay, but I can't.
You still have.
I cleaned it up. Leave me alone.
How the hell did you pull that off?
Free black woman.
Ucleane ngani?
Yes, the ngclean ngani?
Kuthi abe clean.
Nalezinto kukhanya clean ngazo.
I can't believe you did that.
Did I say said,
Yeah,
I
you did.
love you, can you bear?
So cleanly.
No, ngiclinile. And besides, you know, isikhathi masilokhu sihamba, we then got clever as amantombazane because we could see ukuthi ah man, le nto iyamosha.
Yes.
Makuyisama ufuna ukushaya isicephe unalama around.
Yes.
Because
On your
kulabo
knees.
uguqe ngakhona.
Mhm.
So, rinka kosi iyaka mama,
Mhm.
hlanganise nendwangu laphana ubophe and then you go.
Yes.
And then you get down. And then istup like esasekhaya sikhulu. So nokufrefa instead of using brush.
Yeah.
Angithi ufake that in.
Oh,
Uvele ufrefe ngayo. Yeah, uphethe brush ngapha ufrefa ngayo. No, we were there. So ekhaya bekunjalo. And then
Were they back rooms?
Yes, and then they later, but mangzalwa they weren't. But later, my grandmother did. My big rooms for my uncles. La be bapaqwa khona, bathi bavalela ama-chair abo, thina silale endlini sihleke. Umuntu athi ubambile i-chair yakhe kumele igibele phezu kwezicathulo zakhe. So that when my grandmother, because her bedroom is by the gate,
Where
so that,
can hear.
yeah, if she hears only 2 footsteps. Kanti no, girl, uhamba phezu kwey'nyawo zakamama.
What? Wow.
Oh my God,
What a-
Utumzin, that was my uncle. He was naughty like that. And then I planted a tree which is still there, a peach tree.
It's still, even now.
Yes.
Is this house still in the family?
The house is still in the family. My
Yeah.
grandfather is still around. And my one uncle is there with his son.
Yeah.
And ama-back rooms ke siqashile ke
Yeah,
abantu.
you know.
Yeah. But, you know, it's an emotional thing, this question. And I know you know why you're asking it. Because it somehow seems, Uguti, when the matriarch moves on, then things go haywire.
Fall apart.
Hey, things fell apart, man.
So they
China
did.
Achebe. Yo, things fell apart.
Yes.
After my granny. My granny used to be called Stephanie Forrester, go piripir.
Why?
You know how Stephanie would fight for Ridge and all her kids? Apuma Yonlanda. That woman was my grandmother.
What?
Tall, yellow bone, beautiful legs. And uthanda everybody. And but she would leave the house apuma yegina zobuz guti thinking iguphi.
Really? She was like that.
Yeah.
Did you get
And
any
people-
of that from her?
I mean, yeah, not quite. My mom got some of that from her. And I mean, we spoke about my former surname, Karelse. When Udo finally met my grandmother, I remember him saying, yo, you are one thing, Mos. Like, he literally saw my grandmother, he saw my mother, and he saw me. You look alike? Oh, this was before he married me, actually. And he's like, you look alike? You're all strong. You're all headstrong and da-da-da. And then he's like, but you know what I like? I see what you're going to look like when you age.
Hey.
So let's go. I was like, what?
Wow, there
He's
you
like,
go.
no, I saw your grandmother, so I'm good. We can get married now. I'm like, you dumbass. You know, so yeah, she was
Headstrong.
very headstrong, loved people. I mean, when she passed on, I remember, never forget that Thursday. You know, during the week, and then about 20 young people showed up.
Yeah?
Like, what? But I was so being ugogo. Ugogo bekasithanda. I'm like,
Nibubani.
nina nabo bani? No, Tina bayazisho. Some of them were from, because ekhaya ebhekane nesikolo iRishile.
Okay.
And Matsidi. So some of them were from that school, some of them from her church, Zone 7, Methodist. And they're like, ugogo mhlophe. Bebamba ugogo mhlophe. But ugogo bekasithanda, ugogo bekasinakekela wathi azange bacula angikhalanga kanje. Because then it showed me ukuthi lento yethu kufamily yami, there's one thing about us, sithanda abantu. Nangu umnikazi walento le.
Ulo mama.
Nangu bafikile abogogo intanga zakhe. But here's a whole group of young people, you know. And even sometimes when I would surprise her, let's say I'm shoot and go home during the week, I'd find ehleli lapha kulesa stupu or ebhankstulweni, and then labantwana baphuma esikolweni bagcwele la ejartini basaranda ugogo uyabaxoxela or whatever it is. She was just that. She was a big spirit. Big.
That's amazing.
That's my soulmate.
And the fall of a matriarch, as you call it, it leads to disaster.
I mean, I never thought in my family kuzoba. It was a slight issue yokuthi kulwelwa indlu.
Sure. Kancane.
Kancane. I was like, nathi futhi. Sizibone TV lezi zinto lezi, you know.
Yes.
I was like, how?
You present some of these weird TV
Do you know what I
shows where
mean?
people are fighting over
Yeah.
stuff.
And I'm like, this is us now. But my mom, and I was like, you don't need it. You don't need that house. She's like, it's not even about needing the house. It's about the fact that my mom is the first one, right?
Mm.
So it's about the fact that all of us, kusekhaya lapha.
Yeah.
At any point, ongasenamsebenzi, onganandlu,
Ubuya la.
onganani, kumele abuye la. So it doesn't belong to anyone.
Mm.
Waya ke ofisini nomkhulu amba ilungisa ke kuthi vele it's a family home. So whoever it is, if we want, you go back. But mina, my sadness is that after the passing of the matriarch, I mean, I used to do all kinds of things for that lady, even that house. I think the last time the house was painted was when I was throwing her 80th party.
Jeez. Wow.
I
And
went
clearly
there.
that's not last week.
No, that was a long time ago. And I was saying to my mom, so what do we do? She's like, let's fix it. I didn't want to because bomalume basila ngithi yibo bebafuna ukuthatha. So I'm like, okay, qhubekani. But at the same time, abantu abangaziyo bazi ukuthi kusekhaya lapha.
Yeah.
Even though I don't go there anymore, which also hurts, you know. But it's that, you know, when you grow up, you then choose your battles and you make peace where you can. And so it will forever be home. And like what my mom said a couple of weeks ago, we'll go and do what we need to do so that we can do something for my grandmother in her house.
How about lo phahla? Phahlela ko high. Yes. Who was home at the time when you were born?
Sure. My mom wasn't married.
Mm.
She was a model. Mam tripa.
Mam tripa
Ngami. Yeah. And then Begasekaya. So it was her, it was her siblings, because she's the first one, and then the uncles, her brothers.
Yeah.
By 4. No, by 3, sorry. And then on
She's the
total bona by
fourth, yeah,
4.
yeah.
And then my grandfather.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I got born.
So
and
you were the
then
first of
I'm
the
the first of the 3 of us.
wow, of the grandkids.
Yes.
You must have
Definitely.
You must have gotten a lot of love.
Oh, I did. I'm my grandmother's everything. Even my sister was in Vagwam. At some point, she felt discriminated against.
Really?
Yeah, she felt like, but I was. I mean, that's my
What is the gap?
manje.
What is the gap between you and her?
It's not how 3 years, 3,
It's not
4
so
years.
bad.
No, it's not. But I was always closer to my grandmother.
Mm.
Always. And Yena, she was closer to my mom. Even to this day.
Mm.
Her and my mom, they're Gemini, so what do I expect?
Get along. They
right?
get along. Yeah.
Twins, yeah.
Because your story reads of, and I use the word read because I had to make reference to the book,
Yeah.
of a relationship that wasn't particularly great with your mom.
Nah, it was not. And it's that thing that Udo saw. I am her.
Oh.
She is me.
Two bulls in one crawl.
And the grass will suffer and everything else. But I've had to learn, hindsight is 2020. And when you grow up as a woman, and for me, being in this industry, I had to understand, Guti, all this chick ever did was try to protect me.
Yeah.
In everything.
You couldn't see it then.
What? Nah. What do you mean trying to protect me? Ngiyababa, ngibopha iphondo, ngifuna ukuphuma.
And yena athi,
Abantu bathi ngu-Whitney Houston, wena ufuna ngihlale endlini.
oh, so you didn't see that, eh?
Not at all. And I didn't see it. In fact, to me, it was being stifled. It was, and also, at that time, I think my creativity, my creative juices were like just oozing.
Yeah.
And so she wasn't having any of it. We're going to map to contest. Nan. I had to lie. I mean, I entered Miss Soweto 1 year.
Without her knowing.
Yeah, bo. Even when I started singing, she did not know.
Sure.
You know, because she was a very strict. I mean, lo muntu lona wajike nar. She wanted to be a nun.
Oh wow, she's been there.
She wanted to be. And then my mom, my grandmother was like, yeah, hey, oh my you're not going there.
Strict back, where do you think it comes from? Because some people become who they become because of their own experiences.
I think it's definitely her own experiences, and then she'll tell you her story with her mother and her mother's husband, who is her stepfather, my grandfather. And that was not a particularly beautiful relationship.
Yeah.
Not at all, actually. And so that kind of played a role in her life. And even with her and her mom,
Mm.
there were differences. Because also, she's pretty. She wants to be a model. She wants to do this.
She's
she wants to do
tall
that.
and
She's
all of-
tall. She's all of these things, you
Yeah.
know? And Coco's not having any of that, you know? So I think that it was a myriad of reasons why she was strict. But at the top of it is protection, because also when she did get into the industry, then she knows what the industry was like.
Yeah.
And she would tell you, Guti, ay, obabiza ngamagama, mabavele TV. Lo, wathini kimi? Lo, wathi khona omunye esimaziyo. The funniest thing about
Oh,
some of la
these
madoda
men.
kule industry,
Yeah.
khona ubaba wayeshela umamami ngey'nkathi zakhe.
Uh-huh.
Okay, mina kangazi. Naku ngiyakhula sengiku-industry.
Yeah.
Ushela mina manje. Mina mangitshela umamami.
Uyazi ukuthi-
Akazi.
Of course.
Mangitshela umamami ukuthi umuntu so athi ini? Athi awungipha amaphone number lo ngizomtshela ngathi uyamazi athi wayengishela engilandela eyenzani.
What?
And then ngamtshela.
Ukuthi how?
Amahloni.
Boshelu mama.
But do you think he stopped?
Hey, is that a difficult thing for women? This thing that you just spoke of in this industry?
It is, because it's unequal.
Actually, difficult is the wrong word. Naturally, it is difficult. However, is it as prevalent as? Because I'm a guy. I don't experience it.
It's very prevalent.
Yeah.
And why I say it's unequal, it's because the MO is the same. You're David,
Mm-hmm.
you have studios,
Yeah.
you have staff, you have young men, young women coming here every day.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not a solid person, bonke la mantombazana angena la, wena uzofila ukuthi kumele adlule la kuwe.
Oh.
And manje it becomes unequal in that lo mntana awumazi ukuthi uphumaphi ne-background yakhe ithini. You don't know what that job is going to do.
Means for them, yeah.
Means for her.
Yeah.
And so now you gonna put this in front of her. She does not want ngenhliziyo yakhe yonke. But makabheka nale mali yokuthi azofika la today. Ukuthi uyobuyela angananix. Already abatshelile ekhaya ukuthi yo, there's a chance ngiya kuphi uthi uzongi-interviewer. And then people start to, and by the way, it's not just girls now, hey? No, it hasn't been for a while. The same thing happens to guys.
Yeah.
But the perpetrator in two instances has always been men,
Ooh.
ne? With boys and girls. Mara namhlanje 2020 bani 2. Andile
Hmm.
is now that girl.
Which girl?
All the young guys that come here,
Yeah.
kumele badlule la.
So now that
In our
happens.
industry.
That happens too.
Udlala kabuhlungu.
But
Listen to these young people tell you their stories. Women have become the one thing that they hate. They've become that in those positions.
it's a scary reality of power. And I don't imagine you would know why we as humans have become that way.
Yeah.
Or we've probably always been that way. We're predators.
Yeah.
We look for the weak.
Yeah.
We take advantage of the weak. That's
Yep.
generally how it works. Because
Yep.
what you described as someone who comes here looking for a job, immediately they are weaker than
Of
me
course.
in that picture.
Of course.
And I take advantage of that and I get what I want, whatever it is that I want,
Mhm.
or I continue to want it. And they get a little job there. And there's another one that comes looking for the same job. Now they're colleagues. And I take advantage of this one. And there's a little thing.
Kuraf. And for
Yeah.
me now,
It sounds so messy.
it is very messy. If there's one thing, David, for as long, I don't even know how long I've been in this industry. You've just said something about 25 years ago.
I know, I'm sorry.
Dala ngila.
Yes.
I don't know in totality what those years are, right? It's a lot of them. And one thing I will always be proud of myself for. The one thing, I never ever gave in,
Whoa.
regardless of what was at stake.
Do you know why?
I mean, at the time,
Mm.
it just seemed like the thing that my mom's always warned me about. That was
Ah.
one. Two, it just, mina mangingakuzwa.
Mm-mm.
And akidlali siyaphana.
Okay.
I'm the girl that dates and gets her heart broken and goes to the corner and she cries and she
Ooh.
cleans herself back and then she goes back to the ring. Ne?
Yeah.
So this lifestyle that my industry is all about, that's why I don't know which journalist said I was a reluctant celebrity.
Mm.
It's because I kind of understood, and I think more than anything, the same trauma that I went through as a kid, I think that's what, remember what I was saying earlier, the fright,
Flight or fry.
yeah,
Yes.
so living in that space,
Mhm.
it was a constant reminder. You if you can't beat them, you join them. So you want to present this front to everybody. That's why everybody who didn't know me would say to people that knew me, lawyers Kabangel, how are you friends with this person? Because people didn't know Guti, how do you punya that wall?
Yes.
Because I can't put
People can't get in. Yeah.
and I'm here and then here. And that I feel is what has kept me. Not because ngihlakaniphile or ngingcono kunamanye amantombazane or whatever, because situations vary. But that trauma, my mom's voice, and then obviously the stuff that makes me who I am is what kept me. But that didn't go without a price.
I was about to say you must have
There's
lost
always,
stuff.
of course, a lot of stuff.
Yes.
A lot of stuff. I mean, I think if, first of all, if the situation wasn't that everything is that kind of transaction, then like everybody else, Nami, I would have reached heights that I wanted to, right?
So you're saying you could have gone far.
Of course. Oh, that, I don't mince my words. I mean, I talk about that in my book.
Do you regret some of these
No.
decisions?
No, no, because you know what they've done? It's almost like I was always hidden in plain sight. And at the time where I was ready and I'd done the work, because you have got to do the work of healing. That's why God's Pharmacy is here now. That's why after all these years of doing television now, over the last 2 years, 2.5 years, whatever, I've been behind the scenes as well as in front of the camera, expanding myself, producing, editing, scripting, konke lokhu, it's because God carved out a path for Andile. And I had to stick to my lane.
Yeah.
And so I was stuck in my lane watching, not to say bekungekho buhlungu ukuthi, oh, they're doing a kwaito what.
Eish, mina ke.
And then mina bangifaki. I understood exactly why bangifaki.
And they did ask you, and you didn't say yes.
Yeah.
Because they asked for more.
Yeah. And so, do you regret that? No. That's why all these years later, when chickens came home to roost, I was sitting just like I'm sitting right now. When? Now. Nitin manj. Nabalabantwan. That you did willy-nilly whatever it was that you thought you wanted to do all those years ago and thought it's over.
Now it's coming back. The description you gave of young people who are taken advantage of, are they willing participants? You were not. Are there a lot of willing participants?
Some of them are.
Yeah.
Do you know when that name and shame thing, Me Too, came out and people were dropping names?
Rapey.
Yeah.
There was a rapey era. It was so rapey.
You know what was sad for me? I remember speaking to one of the DJs who was actually in that room at the time, Eva Kamata. And we just were having a conversation. Utigimi, this is why I stopped doing gigs. It was because of this. Mina. I remember, for instance, in the YFM days, whether it was Betram's or Rosebank, I was very unpopular with these little girls.
Okay.
Because I've always been Usisomdala. Even when I was younger, I've always been that person who's going to walk into a place and find these young girls. Studio get recordwa. Ngaba 10 11 nginemota bipaye ngaphandle nginakwami ngenzani ngizorecord. These girls busy bayaphuza lana and all these guys are doing whatever with them. At some point I will ask you, who are you? What are you here? Why are you here? Does your mother know why you are here?
Oh, you were that girl.
I was that girl.
You were the
even at YFM. Yeah. And they didn't see it because for them, whatever, smang uiteki muyemele mo watla. Show ya high fela ka 6.
Sure.
Wawa?
I say this and very carefully so I don't step on people's toes.
Yeah.
I've seen girls go to a party with no plan.
Yeah.
No plan whatsoever. Like we'll come back.
Yeah.
We don't know how. I've seen girls go to parties with no money, meaning that when they get there, they are happy to be bought drinks for.
Yeah. And somebody's gonna bring them back. So it's one. For me now, when I was at Banato Park, my mom would always say to me, my friends, white friends, be like, okay, sleep over weekend, whatever. Umama noma nganamali, David angizwa. Mara kuthiwe sleepover. There is no ways that I'm going to take a taxi to that girl's house, number one. She's going to drive me to the girl's house. She's going to meet the girl's parents. Okay, Basho Guti, this is what we're going to do for the weekend. And ngizene impahla zami and whatever. And then eceleni uzonginika noma 100 rand or 200 rand.
Yeah.
And I remember back then, because I my public telephone. If anything happens, noma ngabe ubani isikhathi. Faka imali lapho ngifonele and beka drive ikhothi noma mama driver ngathi taxi drive. Athi I will be there, you know. So that confidence of knowing and on top of that, Carlton Center there was these beautiful restaurants and she would take us to restaurants. The first time I went to a restaurant was with my mommy. And she was like, no guy is gonna come and take advantage because it's a good restaurant.
Yeah.
Ubamba so. Oh, you don't sit like this. Ngezandle tafuleni. You don't yonke lonto le. Ati etiquette. Sikufundisi etiquette.
Wow.
So
that's the model in your mom.
That was her, yeah.
Prim and proper.
You know?
Yeah.
So those little things kind of built in.
Yeah.
And that's why I quickly became, you know, that. And so years later, it was evident it was going to happen. And you didn't like me then. A lot of people in this industry, even when I spoke about my story, they would switch off. No man my interview, you know your colleagues, you can see you abantu abajabule. And at that point, I'm naive. I'm just living my life. And then yes, that happened. Yeah, that's a by the by, right? Until my calling now is checking me in the eye face to face. Now we have to deal with the monster. Because you're cooler, man. And this music that you're doing, the image also that you're portraying is going against Lentoti and Zegi Legue umngan.
You're wearing skimpy stuff.
Yeah. Next magazine, Yaturanta. Do you remember?
Is it showing you looking all, oh hell.
Batting and zip poop, what? I remember that that headline. Batting shy breast implant, what.
So you didn't do that?
No.
I had to check because they said it. I had to check.
Natural.
It was somewhere in the plans for I will ask her about the book. How much did it cost you? Which doctor? Because it was way back then.
Yes, and those things were
not even known.
Yeah.
I was wondering where in the world did he get a boob job doctor in Johannesburg in 1993?
I remember when that article came out, there was a friend of mine, Machere, married to Pepsi.
Yes.
She's like, friend, right. How she always said she used to dress me.
Yeah.
So mangi for fittings. Man. Stop. So, you know, it was having to contend with the image you're putting out and what you're feeling inside. And I think I struck a nice balance because from the get-go, I understood why I was here. I understood what I wanted to do in the music industry. I also, because my mom, every day, understood that I was never going to be used, you know, and tossed to the side. And at that time, I didn't know that it was purpose, that I needed to align with purpose. I just knew, ngithanda ukucula, ngifuna ukucula. And now, masek figure Linda beguthi manje, okay, sexual violence, and then you dress like this. What is that conversation? And for me, the conversation was, I will never allow a setback to keep me set back. And so, yes, that happened. I didn't ask for it. And worse, it's someone whose blood runs, you know, through my veins.
Who, if anything, and
should have been.
Yeah, protect the main protector. That's the story, eh?
So I was never going to, because I remember Gaelesiwe saying to me, what's your image? What are you going to look like? And not dreadlocks, braids. I like them, thick, long braids. Obviously inspired by Boom Shaka. And they're like, sorry, they already have that hairstyle.
That role has been taken.
Yeah, so who are you? I'm like, can I go home? I'll come back.
I'll think about it.
And then I remember my dad, my real dad. He's not my biological dad, but that's my real dad, Gaelesiwe.
Yes.
And he loved Anita Baker and Phyllis Hyman. And he influenced my music in such a profound way. And so I would look at these women, and Anita Baker had that Katia high, you know.
I remember that time.
I was like,
yeah, relax.
yeah, by tongue.
Exactly.
I was like, I can do that. But then we add color and then it pops.
Oh yeah.
And that's the first sleeve. Sabutio. It's that hairstyle with color, lip leather, a shorty, little booty,
We have to get that image. Sis. We have to get that image.
Yeah. And so it was like, I'm never now, because gutiwa mina ngadlungulwa, am now gonna look like Coco or somebody when my peers, this is what the industry is calling for. And I remember back then, the debate was so robust.
Yeah.
Is it music that we're selling or is it sex that we're selling? And the
yes.
image,
Wow.
everywhere. These were the discussions, And for me, it was also unknowingly me taking my power back. Because
that
here I was,
young girl.
Yeah.
Not even realizing.
Not even realizing
Yeah.
it. I mean, I remember going to Prague and buying window shopping and getting into this shop and finding this gorgeous dress. It was white. It was see-through. It had a bloomer underneath. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah. And so you wear it, it's see-through, but then you see the big bazooka underneath. I was like, this is me. I bought the dress, came back. I remember doing studio mix.
Wearing that dress.
Disaster.
It didn't work.
People had problems. No, it worked, but it worked too much. I should not.
It worked
And
too
people
much.
were at work, and there were problems.
Wow. But I want to go back to that point because I think it's a moment to learn about girls who do things when they are young
Yeah.
and they shouldn't.
Yeah.
And your answer in simple terms is that it has a lot to do with what your mom did to your mind when she took you to all these fancy places.
Yes.
So nobody else will take you to fancy places
they
and it'll be the
weren't
first
new.
time.
Yeah.
Yes. So surely there's a lot that has to be done at home.
Oh, look. How is it? Mbona lo mama lo who trended now recently against a gown fetching her child.
Oh yes.
Emjiveni.
Aha. Bravo.
Today, women, men, parents, I get it. Life is tough. But we are allowing television, social media. At first it was just TV. Now it's social media. Umntwana makaphethe iphone. When
There's
utshela ukuthi,
influence.
yeah, and then when utshela ukuthi hayi usharp, now you can do what you need to do, and especially abantwana who are in single mother
setting.
setting,
Yeah.
because the mother usafuna ukujola, usafuna une owenzani, usafuna yabo,
Na umjolo wakhe.
umjolo wakhe. So wena uzokubona nini ukuthi nawe awubuya ngizole ekhaya. There was never a way that uzohamba ungabuye ekhaya.
No.
Or uhambe kuze kushaya u9 ungakangena endlini. Njani? Bayokulanda nabaku-embarrassa lapho. And so when that woman did that, I loved her. And I was like, yeah. And then mamurukha ke. And bonke laba bamthukayo, yilaba abanabazali abangabagadi.
Yes.
We just need to be honest about these things.
Yeah.
Uguthi laba banama parents who are just like, and there's a lot, or parents who actually encourage. David, I mean, what? 15 years ago, I wrote a song. Bana ba hweba ka mmele, thibelang, because I had read an article, this mother telling the daughter, umuhle, upakile, siyalamba, hamba, ubuye necross. All those years ago.
Sure.
It's happening here now, every day.
Yeah.
Abantu mabaphosa labantwana laba. You guys, nhlangana nentombazane, you see her pictures on Instagram, you're like, she's a grown-ass woman. There's GMOs that people are eating every day that are messing up people's hormones.
Actually, I've said that to one of my friends that his kids are big.
Pow! Here, pow! Everything is a pow, pow.
When we were 15, we were still small bodies.
Yeah.
These kids are humongous.
Girls and boys.
Yeah, actually. I was referring to basketball boys.
Yeah.
These kids are humongous. Yes.
So now you get on Instagram, you see this, and she has the speak too, and you think intanga yako.
Yeah.
Ingane.
Yes.
Now they're soliciting. And now, Aksena, I mean, OnlyFans is the future now, I guess.
People make money from it.
So it's unfortunate, Tuguti, the black home, for me, seems to be missing the grip.
And somebody said that in this setting.
Yeah.
That to build real wealth and generational wealth, there's a lot that has to do with the family unit. And when you say the black home, is losing grip. It's lost grip many
lost,
years ago. Historically affected by all sorts of things. Migration of people having to go work in different parts of the country and not being home to hold that grip.
Yeah.
Your show at its core
Yeah.
is a show that you've done for so many years. At its core has to do with people living in different parts of the world because of labor migration.
Yeah.
And I look at it and say, we're not fixing it right now. And if anything, we're letting it just go to waste.
Isn't that sad?
Yeah.
You know, when I do the other show, Tano Nokolo, I feel like that's one show that makes me, okay, I put my effort in. But when you walk into these situations and you hear what somebody has done and what this person wants to apologize for, what they want the peace for, it's like, really? Are we really doing these kinds of things to each other? Like, it makes me feel like Sigude from Paul.
Yeah.
And David, the truth of it is this. ETRC, all those years ago, Mandela, to all of them.
Those guys.
Ayenzanga nix, baba.
No.
Ayenzanga nixi, nathi self, asenzanga nix.
Yeah.
So what we've done is the pain that we've inherited, esizana. And don't forget, there's a thing called muscle memory. There's cellular memory too. So the trauma that my great-great-great-grandmother experienced, I have some of that in me, mangzalo. And if I get born to an unawake mother who's not in touch with self, let alone with universe and everything that makes us, then chances of me surviving and actually becoming that I set out to become when I incarnated here this time are very slim. And we haven't even begun to discuss the existence of humanity, because now what we're busy dealing with are the trappings. And the trappings have to do with this body, the earth suit. In the esiyenzayo, if you wanted to see us and where we are as South Africans, these last 2.5 years, the lockdown showed you exactly who we are.
Who are we in that description?
We are broken.
Yeah.
We are lost. As Bizani, as we are not converging. Everybody yazi inkomo mazino melusi. Zilalela umelusi ziyala umelusi ayekona. Tina segu.
Yeah.
There was a time where as a country I could speak for South Africans as a people, Nami being a citizen. I can't do that anymore. Because some of the things that we go through, we can talk about Abanbasa next door and whatever. Yes, that plays a role, a huge one too, but nati self.
Yeah.
As Polanga. And on top of Uti as Polanga, nge apartheid and everything that we went through, all these trappings now of, oh, now they're better blacks. They have all these cars and all these houses, and now they show us the life of Pilai. When you life, you're going to do whatever it takes,
to get
guy
it.
or girl, to get it.
Yeah.
Amantombazane is selling your body, abafana ukudubula abantu, and whatever else that they do to try and get this life. And the clever blacks must figure phezulu skotliwe ukuthi kumele sibuyele and pull people with us. So thina nje, mina I say abantu bababuyele makubo so that izoba ne family meeting.
Once. That's the family meeting we need.
That's the family, not listen to it that we've been.
Do you realize the way you described it? It sounds like one, you said it, we're not anywhere near fixing it. Two, it's a perpetual continuing problem that will keep continuing to give it to our next generation, and they will give it to our next generation. When you see whatever his name is, who lives Arabile, who lives in the suburb, there's 1 million other Warabile in the township who are left behind. So there are more of these ones that are left behind than one Warabile.
And manje, it was okay back then because noma uyile elokishini on a weekend, uzombona Arabile, uzobona abanye in conversation. Nawe khona into ezokuthi I must do something ekas.
Yeah.
Because Arabile is there, is trying to push, however is trying to push. But Arabile is competition yake uthabo wase next door. Manje it's a whole nother situation.
Sure.
There's chipa who's mang wakaikai, onaling skill that tabo and Arabile don't have. And they come and sit right here.
Yeah.
So Arabile melaye manj.
Sure.
Magati uya esida or uya gupi these government spaces that are supposed to help you start your business. Agana the first thing to start. A situation here has become dire over the last 10 years. That's just a fact. And it's like when you're on a plane, they tell you when they give you the safety features.
Yes.
Before you help the next person, put your own
mask
oxygen
first.
mask first.
Yes.
South Africa needs to put its own oxygen mask first.
Whoa.
That's where we are.
Because we need it right now.
We're in ICU, Papa.
Wow, man. You're gonna make me cry.
Night.
You're gonna make me cry. Yeah, because, one thing I learned from these conversations, and it's disheartening, it's the reality of, the stories are identical. I had Jaros here, I had Mandla here, Spikiri, and many other people. The stories are so identical, it's ridiculous. But where it ends, there's no, and it's not your fault or anything. Society is designed that way right now, where the generation after is not, nothing happens after. Like there's effort from people like yourselves, from people like me, to really try hard to get out of that. But then you're leaving too many people behind. And what difference is there really in the bigger picture?
But you know what? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction, right?
Yeah.
And whatever you put out there, I believe in energy. I believe that we are energy. And so energy never dies. It transforms, transmutes, and all these things. And whatever little you're doing, to you it might seem insignificant. But that's adding. So you're adding your voice to this chorus.
Yeah.
And that chorus won't exist without your voice. So gahle to us, because we know what the ideal situation should be, right?
Yeah.
It might seem like we're losing. But even during apartheid, I mean, I was a kid, but I remember when they talk about Tukacha and the IFP coming to Soweto and all of those things, and when
that
you
force,
thought,
the language that was spoken
and
about
all of
there.
those, and you're like, Mo survivile lokshin bafethu. I know you've made it. You got to do something great with your life. That era, but in consumer boycott.
Yes. We almost had one like a few weeks ago.
Yeah, but tatama ipolishi in the states of makchobiso zone kanda go to tengelene dropin, all of those
I
things.
remember that.
Wow. And so last corner manch, we went past that. We did great. The whole world knows that as a people, as a country, it's okay.
The better African.
Yeah,
Yes.
but we did great. Also because our struggle, colonization is colonization. Oh my God, I'm looking at my favorite album, Aretha's Greatest Hits. Sorry, but yeah,
We'll talk
that
about
album right there. Oh my God. So our colonization wasn't better than anybody else.
No.
Right? It still damaged us. But ngendlela yethu as abantu basemsawawa, we survived it.
Yeah.
And so I refuse to believe that we're not going to come out of this.
No.
It just means a whole bunch of us need to really now, I hate Twitter typists, keyboard, what. Do something.
Yeah.
And don't tell us. Let's see ngomsebenzi wakho. Asizwe ngo Arabile no Thabo bathi mina ngisebenza ka David. King David studio. Uqasha abantu abayingakhi. You're going, that's something, a legacy that you're leaving. Not all of us can have studios, but all of us can do so many other different things. Masifike emhlabeni izandla zethu zigoqiwe. Every single human being has a gift to give to the world. The thing is, are you going to die with it? Are you going to die having not even realized it? Having not even aligned with it? Or are you going to give mohamba? Mele mohamba la ube empty. You should be spent.
Uzoba empty vele.
Yeah.
You must have left something.
You should be spent. Yonke lento lozenayo, you must have left it.
Yeah.
So I believe ukuthi if sonke we can be of that mind and also understand mawusazojola. Understand ukuthi abantu baphukile. Uzoshelwa i-patient.
Yo.
Now you patient yourself if you are not doing the work. And when you're going to be with that patient, because abantu manje also, that's another thing. Kunemithi emjolweni, kunani, because people don't want to do the work.
Yeah.
No, David is rich. Why angashatang? Mina ngibaba kaso. Upu kokos banban.
Bethi ngimla.
Ngilanda ukokos banban, they come, and then mase kumoshekile Andile mela fike manje nama camera sizothi benenzani. You know, what was happening? Why would you go there? You know, so the man in South Africa needs to understand, Guti, he has not escaped the clutches of that trauma. The woman in South Africa has to understand, for as long as she's bleeding, the man is never going to heal.
No.
Some of the worst abusers in South Africa are women.
Yo.
That is a fact.
Coming from you.
An unpopular fact that people do not want to talk about, but it's a fact. In fact, I dare say right now, ngisaba umuntu wesifazane than ngisaba umuntu wesilisa. Mina ngiwumuntu wesifazane.
Is it experience? Is it stories you've heard? Is it just this is what happened?
It's stories I've heard. It's things I've seen in my life.
Yeah.
It's stories I work on. The lengths that women are willing to go. Yazi indoda mawi heta or reprizes izokwenza one thing, whether ukuthumela somebody or akushange empama or whatever it is, aphume ku. A woman on the other hand will save money for you. Abhale phansi ukuthi uzokwenzani, abiza abangani bakhe, bahlale phansi, hatch up a plan, bayenze lento abafuna ukuyenza. And this is why at times as well, co-parenting will never ever succeed, because abantu abafuna uku-introspect. Do you know mawuqeda ukuhlukana? The best thing you can do for yourself is be by yourself. You don't hlukana today and jola tomorrow.
Yeah.
You hlukana today. I heard actually this woman wangichaza kabi on I think it was 702 Ati, for every year that you've dated someone, when you break up, you need a month or 3
of that
to
recover.
Yes. It's a fact, David, because people are not realizing it's almost like we dustbin. So all this trauma from your great-grandmother, from your grandmother, from your mother, from your father being absent, from you, from work, from whatever. Zonke listen to school. And then ubonu David, we are closer lapayan. You're like, yo, yeah, no, that's a light. What you're looking for there, it's not him. It's this thing around him that attracts you. But the thing is, you can be that thing.
On your own.
You can have that thing.
Yeah.
So people don't want to do the work, but they want to go and take from those who've done the work.
Sure. Yeah, right now deep, man. Negana roba mo sa facing.
I can rubele tissue. But wena ule.
Forget it. See who's gonna cry first.
Who's gonna cry? Not me. Man, I'm my eyelash.
I want to go back to.
But you do that, by the way.
What do I do?
Let me say.
Yeah.
I've been interviewed many times, and I enjoy being interviewed because for once I get to speak, you know.
Express
what's
inside of you.
And it's tough, man. Like there's not many that take you there. It's here. I'm like, okay, is that it? Are we done? Oh, okay, sharp.
They take you to Abutiyo.
Dude. And then just like the general, but you know, for me, it's about, you'll never see me on a magazine cover because I have nothing to say. When I'm on a cover, it's because konintong funuguyisho. And I feel it's worth somebody listening to.
Yeah.
And when I come and I do an interview, mangvoma, there's something engfunuguykuluma. I'm not gonna waste your time.
No, of course, yeah.
You know. So when you are there and then it doesn't hit. No, you always hit. You always hit different.
Let's go back home. Meadowlands matters to me because it formed who you are.
Yeah.
But there's a story of a neighbor.
Yeah.
What is that story? It's that story, the little that I've read, that story is touched on, but not much comes from it, I realize.
Yeah.
And I'm here really just saying, you tell me, so at least we get a better sense of this neighbor. They say there's a Meadowlands neighbor. Yeah. And then there's a father later on in the story. I don't know which is which. I know I see the two, but I don't know which is which.
So the neighbor is exactly that. I don't even know the man's name.
Yeah.
I remember asking because those neighbors, couple four for the one my sister's friend, for Louis, we're all about the same age, and I don't know how many years ago, but ngambuzo ukuthi who was that guy? But na akakhumbuli because we were all
You were not that
kids.
clear as well.
Yeah, we were all kids, but bekahlale back room yakabofofo. And that whole story for me is about a sexual predator who grooms kids.
Ooh.
So this is somebody that everybody was comfortable with. And everybody being comfortable with, butohlale rumini. So andile makayeka bofofo, no, it's okay. Kantu brother uyakubiza rumini, ukunika ama-sweet, akhulume, and then akutshela ukuthi don't say anything to anyone.
Yeah.
So the reason when I started talking about the book and I was saying it was harrowing, that particular, see, all my encounters with sexual violence, I can recall them, even the smell. Okay, those things through therapy I was able to get rid of, right? But I could tell you even what I was smelling and what it was like outside and if the sun was out or the flowers or whatever it is. But with this guy, I just know something happened there.
No wonder then in the reading, there's just a quick reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even the one person who knows that I remember being around, knowing guti konde wrong la.
Yeah.
Noma sengimdala akafuna ukukhuluma nami.
Who's this person? A friend? No name.
Akusi friend umuntu. Baba is bekashada ekhaya.
Done. Sishiya injalo.
Yeah.
Is that good enough?
Marusile. Because that could free me. That could put certain things in. Because you see, this is what I've learned. The brain is such a powerful tool that we have. The brain can protect you even against yourself, right? The brain has ways of the trauma brain of literally filing things in places that you'll never find.
You see, this one you're not going to, you don't need it.
Right?
Yeah.
I remember just after the publisher, NB, said, they approached me with this deal. We want to do your book, kanje. And I was like, it literally took a year before I would sign that deal. I was just not ready. I was just not interested. But when the time came closer, I remember ngihlangana no Iman Rapet,
yes,
at a hair salon. And she had just released a book. So we're chatting, because I used to stand in for her time and again. And I'm like, dude, also what's making me nervous is these blotches of memory that I just cannot access. And I'm thinking of doing hypnotherapy so that I can remember these things.
Dig up the stuff.
Yeah. Yo, wati la, you will do no such thing. Yo, she was very stern. Ati, which I took and eventually didn't do it because I understood what she was saying. There's a reason we know what we know. What is top of mind is top of mind. There's a reason why, for instance, past life regression is not something that you just really need to do.
Wins on.
Why you so? It's like that parallel existence.
Yes.
Why are you gonna go and try and be in that timeline when you were here? So leave those things. And when you're under, because my idea was I was gonna get my most trusted person with a video and they put me under and we record the whole thing.
Oh, and then you can tell that proper story.
Yeah.
Yes. Woo.
And then she was like, you will recall things or you will tap into things because also you don't know who's putting you under. And she did explain how she kind of had this kind of experience and the feelings about it. And it is because it's a vulnerable space. Yeah. And you're tapping really into things that you shouldn't, And so I meditated about it. I thought about it and I was like, okay, what actually is it going to do for my story to recall all the details? The point is I was violated. I was a kid and nobody at that point came to my rescue. And I did nothing about it.
Mm.
And even when the subsequent rapes now with my dad, with the guy at boarding school, who beat me up, when all of those things happened, I remember those.
Mm. But this one.
This one I don't remember. I just know the energy. I remember being laid down on a flat surface, like kind of like your desk, And then I don't know what happens after that.
Are there any of the children that you were friends with have references that are similar at all?
No.
I say this because this guy was he Father
Probably,
Christmas?
yeah,
Yes.
probably. And the thing is, Gabo Fofo, there were 1 or 2 girls, but beba badala git. And bebangahlali also constantly there. So Gabo Fofo, mostly it was boys, So if he did,
Hey,
I wouldn't know.
hidden stories that will never be uncovered.
And then naye la khona, I don't know if he knows that me is the me that he did that, whatever.
Yes, it was.
So it's one of those things. I made peace with it. The point is, for me, the energy of rape followed me. That for me is what is significant, is what I take, is that until I put a stop to it, and the only way to put a stop to it is to uncover it, is to uncover the secret, is to dethrone it, is to tell it to everybody, is to make it useless.
Yeah, so it doesn't affect you anymore.
Because once you keep it, for as long as you're keeping it, it's the more the more you think about it, the more you bring about the same experience. What you think about, you bring about.
But you understand the shame that comes with it, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with telling it.
The shame, the guilt, the yonkinto, David, you go through all of the emotions, but it's okay because it's building parts of you.
Okay, yeah.
So, it's that. It's live with it, because I'm also of the view that when you are on this plane, the pros and cons of, first of all, the body that you inhabit will also be kind of, they'll haunt, or it'll be things. Have you said to someone, umuhle, and yet they don't see that? Umekahle, and yet they don't, that's Ujeri into with that body.
Yes.
All of us have a cross to bear for us.
Whatever
being
cross
here,
we're bearing. Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So for me, now, it's once that energy has touched you and tainted you, don't allow it. Because think about it. I was a kid. That is possibly my first sexual experience. Then I kumbuli, and then I did nothing about it. I said nothing to no one. The adult who saw said nothing, did nothing, carried on with my life. Years later, the thing happens again. Years later, and then I say nothing about that. Then years later again, the same thing happens. So for me, that's what has taught me, Uguti, because this thing seeks to destroy the core, the essence.
Yeah.
If you don't really stop it and literally, when I say dethrone, I mean it. Talking about it, and take whatever backlash
that comes with that.
Take it.
Wow.
You're growing into whatever it is that you forgot you said you're coming here to be.
Otherwise, you will not be. So you'll just let life go until you die, but you'll never be.
And to a point, Yoguti, my existence was not about the rape, but it was a catalyst, the biggest one of my life. And so that's why when I got to a place when I was like, okay, I've told this story enough times now. Don't call me ever again any kind of media house for GBV.
About this, yes.
Call everybody, every other person.
So you did get to that point.
Oh yeah, I did. And I told people. And when I do interviews, Andile Gaelesiwe, TV presenter, or whatever else you want to say, But let's not. I'm more than that. Because it to me, it felt like now, so we crutch. I didn't need that.
You are being typecast
to be.
now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't need that to be. I am of the view that I still would have been, even without this experience.
Yeah.
But it seems the narrative of my life, because it's about healing, the narrative for that to be fulfilled needed a big trauma so that I can then fulfill that.
Crazy as it sounds.
It does, right? But that's how far I've gone with it.
Have you been a popular girl at school?
I was somewhat. Not.
I say this because your story reads of someone who was always noticed as the pretty girl. Is it always been like
At
that? Or there was a
school-
time where you blossomed?
There was a time where I blossomed because at school, botsulumatike, bonomonte konxeka, they'll tell you, I used to wear the thickest specs.
Really?
Nabampitsa masipelele.
Because you couldn't see.
I'm blind as a bat, dude. A couple of years ago, I gifted myself this what's it? It's not ICL.
Yeah.
They literally put a contact lens inside the
Wow.
top of the cornea.
Yes.
So I gifted myself that because
So you're better, much
Sights.
better now.
much better. Yeah. But sight was terrible. So bengfaka my specs.
Okay.
And I was that girl again, being that edgy, that fright or flight situation. Ngqoka summer, winter, ngifaka isketi sam eside above my knee.
Wow.
And then my long gray sock.
Socks,
with
so you
the
can't
red
see
at the
much.
top, you don't see much. There's
Yeah.
that much. And then ngifaka ijezi lifika la, and then blazer lam on top of the jersey, and then ngifaka my specs, and then I got my hair.
You were
in-
this nerdy
I
girl.
was exactly that. I was a nerd, and then the one thing happened. The one day I was in the choir as well, and I was in politics in school as well.
Jeez.
And then there was a guy called Benny Muta. I wonder what happened. He was a child star. Before we thought about being on TV, he already had ads.
What?
So, and I used to compete for Rama Max Eskolweni.
Yeah.
No, the former president, Thabo Mbeki, his advisor, Umukoni Rajitanga.
Yes, yes.
We used to fight.
Same
as-
class.
Same class. And then, so, kuthiwa kune fashion show esikolweni. And then it's cultural day. And then I don't know who said Andile must be part of the models. Tulu had the body. Nomonde had the body, but skinny banjani. Mina, I'm kinda in the middle, you know. And farmer specs, nobody knows my body.
Nobody knows really how you look like without those specs.
Got PT. I
Yes.
sit outside of the pool and watch them. I kick in mobukitaba mates.
Do you at least take off a little bit?
What? Don't play with me.
No.
Do not play with me. I'm the one sitting outside, guaring tabosi whom and others. You know, guti abafana baba pume manzini, what. Because we were naughty.
Yes. Wow.
And then it was fashion show. And I remember the dresses, beautiful. Our teachers went to Edgar's, So,
Sales house.
yeah, whatever.
Get
Oh
it
my
right.
God, sales house.
Sales house. Those were the days.
So there's me wearing this body-hugging, tight-fitting dress and no specs, Kentedi contacts. First time isikolo sonke singibona, and I'm down the walkway. The school, yes, says the uproar. People went crazy.
Wow.
What? Andile,
Same girl.
why you fitla? Hey, what? I'm like, hey, leave me alone. Monday back to my specs. The whole. It was a protective
Did it do
layer.
anything to you that moment on the
It
on the
gave
ramp?
me so much confidence
Yeah.
because also nerds, you want to keep to your group of friends, those who think like you, and you kind of somewhat of a misfit,
Yeah.
you know. So that it you use the right word, blossom.
Yes.
It really just but I was still the girl. I was still the nerd. I was still.
So you never then decided maybe I should shorten my skirt a little bit.
Nah.
Maybe I should take the socks
Nah.
down just a tad.
Nah.
Nothing.
I remember there was a time where I ran away from home and it meant I can't go back to Banato Park. So mina-ke ngayosifaka esikoleni eSoweto.
What?
Yeah, Andile loyo. Ngaye Middleton's High. Angaze ngifundisa isiZulu ever in my life, and there was Zulu class and kuzobhalwa ngabo June angazi nix. Ngasifaka laphana i-gym dress. I-gym dress beyenziwa iscooter. I did do that.
What is that?
So kamopili wayimina so.
Oh, so it's shorter.
Kamopili it's longer. Kamomrao it's shorter.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes.
I don't remember that.
Scooter.
Yes.
So I did do that. Ngechim dress. But my schooling career, very uneventful.
Because whether you blossomed at some point.
Yeah.
You went to a decent school.
I did.
How did that come about?
I mean, I remember Joburg Girls High,
Yeah.
and then Gutiwa, South Africa, that whole Maklanganiso, the races, let's have multiracial. They used to call them multiracial
Multiracial,
schools. And I literally was in that first class. And I remember being called by the star and whatnot, because I was quite outspoken in school. Interviews, how does it feel to be the first class of black
You
kids?
remember
that
what
are in
grade, what standard was that?
6,
Jeez.
7, lapo. Yeah.
Wow.
Eh,
Right at the
right at
when
the
a child is
beginning.
becoming an older child.
Yebo. And manje isuka from the Joburg Girls High and Joburg Prep next door to each other. So Tina manje ngapha, the little ones by a prep, Tina other blacks, you coming to high school, and now you are like with these white people. Okay, what's this gonna be like? I mean, it was
Was it a lot of you?
It was a whole movie.
Was it a lot of these black kids?
It was significant because also remember the white families didn't want that.
No, yes.
So a lot of them took their kids out, but also a lot of them left their kids there. And Gwaba right. I mean, we kind of,
gelled.
We gelled.
Yes.
And where there were fights, there were fights. I mean, I remember there was this one white girl. We became friends at some point. So my close friend was Mandy. And Mandy had a friend whose name was Claudia. Okay. And Claudia was a bully. Claudia was big. And everyone was scared of Claudia. And Mandy was like, tiny. And me and Mandy were cool. Claudia didn't like me because Mandy liked me. Yes. And Claudia would be saying all kinds of things and and you try and ignore pendule, nin. Either one day there was a showdown.
Between who? Mandy and Claudia?
Andile and Claudia.
Oh, hell.
It was a war. She's huge. So,
where did you get the bravery to?
I don't know, but I know that a desk landed on her. I picked up an entire desk. Because also, Upuma Esoweto. And you have to, I was the first one being picked up by Kumbi. And then it round Soweto
to fetch all the kids.
To fetch everybody. And then Ning stay away. And then now we have to come to school. And, we're busy dealing with these white-black issues, apartheid issues. And then I get to school. And
you're
then
dealing with this person. That's crazy. But you became friends eventually.
Yeah, and I don't know what happened to Claudia, but I remember maybe some 5 years ago, Mandy and I got in touch with each other on Facebook.
That's crazy.
I loved Banato Park High. Some of my teachers, my headmistress, Mrs. McCrease, was the most amazing human being. She taught me also about personal space. She would always, never allow anyone between your palm and, your shoulder. This is your personal space. If you don't want them here, they shouldn't be here. Tell them to go on the other side. And till this day, I still use that analogy. Wow. So Banato became a great school.
I like that transitional period of it. Yeah. That it took a lot of kids from the township.
No, it did.
And you mentioned other people who we still know today.
Yes, who were there. Yeah.
Education-wise, was it an important part?
Oh, no. It was.
Yeah.
It definitely was. It shaped who I was to become. Because also even the singing thing. I mean, the first time seeing
Ishmael.
Seeing him, Lee. What was that group?
Prophet of the City.
Yeah.
In Cape Town.
Koskolong. They came to
they came to, wow.
Yeah, they came to our school and he performed and they would put, it would start low and then up hands on the ground. And then when he's going to do a high note, Akibele a step. Wow. And then the higher the note, the higher the step. I remember Babea's speaker on top of a speaker and he was on top of the speaker and he howled that note.
That's a show, right?
That was a proper show.
Yes.
And I mean, Banato was powerful. Once a week or maybe twice, 3 times a month, they would bring people from Standard Bank, what was the career, what. And they'd come and tell us, no, that school, McCrease did an amazing job. They did an amazing, amazing job. I mean, most of us, I think those years, iskolo beshaboma 98, 99, 99,
pass rate.
Matric.
Yeah.
Besilap. And it was powerful.
Did you have big dreams of becoming something?
I wanted to become a doctor. And then I wanted to become a politician.
I wonder what was happening in your head.
So many things. And I mean, the whole politics thing was so in my head that I remember at assembly one day I was addressing the school when the SRC, and I was saying, so if any of you guys have a problem, don't, because the principal had given us an office, a classroom to use as an office. Don't hesitate. Come to the ANC office. Go assembly.
ANC office.
I meant to say SRC.
And you said ANC.
The whole school went crazy. I remember the next day, some kid brought me ANC colors to use as a pendant. I was like, wow.
It sounds like it was a liberal setting quite early on.
It definitely was. One thing that Macris made sure, and she would tell, she was very strict. But she would tell everybody around, Uguti, for us to be a unit is not going to happen overnight.
No.
Right? So we have to learn. The black students that come here with their hair in dreadlocks, ponytails and this and this and that. What is the definition of how that, is neat or is untidy or is, and white kids. And so she really went above. And what was also nice is that you also had teachers from Ghana, you had teachers from Zimbabwe, you had, so it was a literal...
She's a melting pot.
A melting pot,
yes.
and you had to learn. And, young teachers, old teachers. Banato was the future, man.
Actually, it's a future I think we missed.
Right.
It's a formula.
Right.
Then imagine if it would have been replicated. It's a formula.
Yeah.
I wonder if it exists. A setting like that, if it exists, if it exists at all.
I wonder. There's a guy, Setu, he calls himself Setu on Instagram. I think he's a rugby coach. He's always, I don't know if you've ever seen him, he's always posting videos. I think he coaches or teaches something in a boys' school. But he's always got these boys, and they're black and they're white and they're colored and they're always singing.
Isn't he the guy that did trying to rally kids at you're gonna win, and he speaks?
He does
him.
that,
Yeah, it's probably him.
That guy, I end up following him, and I'll always comment on his thing because he reminded me of where I came from.
Yeah.
And for me, it was, if every school had this kind of culture, we're different. You are lighter shade and I'm a darker shade for a reason.
You have different hair.
Right?
Yeah.
But the rainbow wouldn't be the rainbow without all these colors, right? So each one brings something. And you take what works for you from me, you leave what does not. And understanding, ukucula ingoma zase sontweni or relokshini zomsabalazo or whatever it is, and bring them into that kind of a setting where white boys now have to learn. What is this? I can imagine that whole process. What does this mean? What are we saying? And then, and then they get into it and they sing the loudest and so on. Those are the things that made South Africa so attractive to everybody.
Eish.
And those are the things that got us in the trouble.
Have we left that? Have we lost that? All of it? Most of it?
I feel like, I don't know if it's most of it, but we've certainly...
lost something.
We've certainly lost something. And for me right now, it's the absence of a unifying force or voice in South Africa.
There's the politician in you still coming out. It's still there.
That it is a fact.
First boy in your life? Skis. All right, let's change the question.
Yo, first boy in my life, my sister will laugh.
Who is it?
This is so terrible. My sister always laughed about... He was squint. And really, really dark. And really, really... Why are we vain?
Hey, humans will only see first.
Yeah,
like only see first. Okay.
But my family never ever let me forget that guy was the first guy. That
was the first guy. So, do you remember why you said yes after that description?
I didn't say yes.
How? And
because my sister is such a comic. She's such a comic. So she makes fun of everything. So I don't know how she saw that and then came back. And my family, abakwarani.
But
In my family, yo, bayakwarana ekhaya. Haye. So nje bebengkwara ngalonto leyo. So
the longest time.
yeah.
You leave school, you finish matric.
Mhm.
What happens to you? And you have the prophet of the city experience now.
Yes.
Inside of your DNA now. It's there somewhere.
Oh, it's there. And guess what? Before I leave school, I'm recording.
Yeah, Mato.
That last year, I'm recording Abutio. Silently, quietly, even as my mom told the principal if she doesn't come
How
to
did
school,
that
tell
come
me.
about?
Because my mom, remember she used to sing and model and act, what. So she knew I like Khawudi. And so I asked for a summer job. School holidays, no lokshin. And minage, the big thing was I'm always in the house. Because I just, even now, I don't know why, I'm a homebody. And she's like, okay, if we get you a job, you go there on holidays and whatever, and then type
something.
And then the job is in a recording studio. Are you kidding me? Okay. Mfagi Walkman. I used to have your cassette. I've got my songbook ekhaya.
Jeez.
So here am I at Khawudi studio downtown. Joburg. He's got this tall white guy. They drove the same BM 535 or whatever, the long one, a maroon. I don't remember why they had the same car, same color, whatever.
Clearly influenced each other.
You know? But now I'm in the studio. And then Mo Sebenzala, Mini. There's no one.
Okay.
So literally I'm sitting there, almost about 2, 3, and then there's people in the building, about engineer, whatever they were doing last night. But there are no artists. I'm an artist. I figure it's cut me never and I don't like that.
They do record at night.
Yeah.
For some reason, yes.
Emini bona balele. Mina lang furu baboro khona. Abeko. And then Vinolia, I remember Suna Papa Yo.
Oh yeah, that song. Wow.
She recorded it there. And there's also a girl named Utandi. She was a beautiful model back then. And then she would be in the, the video vixen type of setup.
Okay.
And then I think I became friends with her. Ngimncane athi umncane mara ngathi umuntu omdala. So I've always had this thing. At a certain age, people say I look older. And then when I'm older, they say I look younger.
Yeah, so you're never quite...
Yeah. So that's always been a thing in my life. And then I think the one day I was sitting at reception listening to Whitney Houston. Obviously, my favorite. Whitney Houston.
Yeah.
So I'm listening and I'm singing along. And there's a thing about wearing headsets that...
You can't hear how loud you are.
So you sound so loud.
Yes.
Everybody was listening. And then when the song ended, and I turned, I'm like, what? Oh my God, everybody was listening. Okay, we're recording.
Yeah.
Literally, that's how that happened.
Whoa.
But then I was like, my mother will not have any of it. I'm in school.
So you did it without her knowing?
I did it without her knowing. But she suspected. Because like I say, my mom knew all our movements. My mom was that kind of a mother. She was a mother hen, Yeah. So she told Mrs. McCrease esikoleni ukuthi lona makangezi ubhizi uthi ufuna ukucula. Makangezi esikoleni ningitshele. She's not allowed to go there to that studio
without me knowing. Oh.
I did it.
Now there's a singer that's coming out of you.
Yeah. And so now that year after that matric is the year now we get signed. And
sure. This is serious. Abutiyo is not out.
No.
It's on a computer somewhere.
Yeah. In fact, we do it the following year. Now, this year, I record or whatever. Okay. We're trying things, the following, literally, Abutiyo took 2 weeks.
Jeez.
The whole album.
Yeah.
Sleeping in studio. And at that point,
okay.
Yeah,
yeah, man. Your story has that.
Yeah.
This rebellious.
Yeah.
This is the part that's confusing to me because there's this nerdy girl.
Yeah.
But who's extremely rebellious.
Yeah.
Very township rebellious. You know the kind like and they don't know who you are, but you're fine with it.
Yeah.
You know?
And noma ngihambile silwile noma mama ngiyofuna isikole eMidlands angiyikohlala kubangani angijolo or angenzini. No, I'm just unhappy ekhaya. And manje ngihlala nogogo kwami. And then ma, bengimbiza ma. Ngicela ungithengele i-gym dress.
Fana nalesikolo.
Ma, wo usisitoli sombona ngithengele i-gym dress ngiyongena lapha ya. S17 middle high, yeah, ngiyara. And then okay, that happened.
Yes.
And then my mom wangland. And then I went back to Banato.
Yes.
And then khona la ngiyimember ye-YCS.
Okay.
Young Christian students.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where now my politicization comes from. Now, you want to do things for the community because YCS does that. It's young. It's the same line nabo Kosas.
Yes.
Sasko and
But
Wara
with a
Wara.
Christian
With a Christian
influence.
twist.
Yeah.
In fact, YCS played a huge role in hiding some of these politicians, maybe Funwa Mapune and whatever,
yes.
because,
You can hide it.
yeah, because there's a Christian, what. Yeah, so now I'm in that mix and hambanela ma conferences wakhona. So ngila, So mangiyophuma esikoleni, iYCS inama office eMayfair. Ma office kunama room lapho ngasemuva. No, babanye bathi kuYCS bahlala dona umyohlala la.
Mawubaleke endlini.
Uma bami ngamncenga ngathi okay, siyalwa. Ngibhalile ngicedile, ngicela ukuyohlala lapha ya. Ngifuna ukwenza lento. And at this point, my mom's like, awufuna umsebenzi and she's trying to find me these jobs.
Yes.
I am not interested.
Were you not thinking tertiary or anything like that?
I mean, I wanted to be a doctor, but no, now I want to sing. So my mom comes there, brings me ipilo, ingubo,
To this place now.
Mommy, like,
Fine.
it's okay. I'm okay. I'm not doing anything as snacks ini. Ngisebenza na these guys. We do community work and we really did,
Yes.
And gulapho ke now I start okay. And also one thing I don't talk about. About that year and second year after high school.
Yeah.
Most of your credit is clean.
Yeah.
Udemetric. Ngivula ama account yonkinda.
How could you even do that? You were earning some money.
Yeah,
Yes.
iYCS base nika something, ngivula ama account. Phela ngifuna uyabona ngine-fridge nyana, kumele ngifake izinto phakathi, kumele yabo.
Crazy.
Yeah. And those things followed me, Lama bad credit back then. Because they want their money. These people many years later on a 30, yeah, won't account to people. I'm like, damn, So those were brilliant formative years for me. And even the music thing, doing it. And I also credit the YCS because even during that space, that whole thing, that spirit, rape,
Yes.
was following.
No, yes, because it had happened.
It had happened and I'd done nothing about
Yeah.
it. So it kept following. But being amongst, hey, young people who are like bringing these concepts that you've never heard of before, and they get debate in it makes your brain like, damn, okay. Now we as feel ukuthi uyiqabane kamampela. Noma ubani banathi uzama ukudripa. You are like that guy, who tried there. You are able to get up and be like, yo, comrades, this comrade, kanje. I was there.
Who would have known? Or
Bugs
was
always like
comrade.
Bugs always likes to say, manje, come to politics, comrade. I'm like, nikhohlakele kabi kwama-politics.
Been there.
Angilapho. Ngi-right. Ngicela ube social worker.
King David Studio Podcast.